Welcome back to another episode of Prepper Talk Radio. We're super excited. We've got Scott, Shane, and myself, Paris Clough, in the house. Super excited to be with you this week or today as you're driving or traveling or doing whatever you're doing. We're grateful that you're listening to us and some of the random thoughts that we have today on being prepared, on staying prepared, on being and staying ready-minded, and with a focus on God, family, and country. So today's episode is brought to you by Jase Medical. Please make sure you go to jasemedical.com and get your medical kit, your antibiotics, your annual or your yearly supply of backup antibiotics. If you use the code PrepperTalk, you get $10 off. However, just so you know, if you subscribe to our YouTube channel and we get you in our group on our Facebook channel, Facebook as well, then you might be able to enter to win one of the Jase cases that we're giving away as soon as we hit 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. Also, we're giving away a 5-ounce silver bar. So you want to be a part of our YouTube growth and our Facebook growth, make sure to spread the word and get us to 1,000 so we can get that contest kicked off. We'd love to be able to launch that the first couple of months of next year and get somebody some of those things as part of their preps for 2023. So please help us out with that and get the word out. Today's episode, I don't know if you guys listened last time, but we talked about how a lot of times we're nervous about talking to people about what we have in our preps and what we have as our plans. And there's some reality to being and staying, silent, and communication security is real. However, the reality is that most people aren't paying attention. And when you even show them things in plain sight, they'll forget about it probably 30 seconds after you tell them. And so there's a little bit of safety in recognizing that the human nature is that most of the things that we really can, most of the stuff that can be really important or special is hidden in plain sight because people are just not paying attention. And so today we're going to talk a little bit about how we can maybe use that to our advantage as preppers to hide things in plain sight. And whether that's something that we're using in our house to food storage, other storage, whether it's our tools, our kits, or whether it's just our skill set, some of the things that we have. What are we hiding in plain sight, and how do we do that more effectively? How do we use that skill more effectively? So that's our show. That's our topic today. And so we're excited to be able to share some of those thoughts and ideas with you today. So Scott and Shane, what do you guys think?
Well, I must say I am an absolute professional at this. I've been mostly invisible most of my life. So ask me anything.
Well, it's funny because I just saw a video on this father kind of going ballistic because he found one of those screw top soda cans safes.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen those?
Mm-hmm.
He found one of those in his kid's room and he was ticked. He's like, he said bad words, is hiding drug paraphernalia. And he opens it up and is like, oh. And he was super disappointed to find that it was actually a present for him for later. He was like, I just messed up my birthday.
Oh,
I'm like, that's one of those things where it was hidden in something that looks innocuous, right? And it's just, but it's in the wrong place. I think that's the key. Is if you put something where it looks like it belongs, it's hiding in plain sight. If you have a container like that, you're hiding it, but it's not an effective solution.
Well, yeah, if it's like a can of shaving cream, right, that you typically find a hiding container, and it's on a bookshelf, that's a little bit out of place. Where If it's in the bathroom on a shelf, mixed in with other cans,
makes total sense.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. I saw a movie years ago. I can't remember what movie it is, but I remember there was an argument going on, and the guy reached in the urn on the mantle in the urn and pulls the whole urn down, and inside the urn is a gun, a handgun, and he starts shooting the bad guys or the enemy guys through the urn. And everyone's like, what is, the first guy goes down, and everyone else is like, what is happening? And it took him a second to process. And they're like, why is he grabbing we're dead. And it was hiding in plain sight.
Mm-hmm.
And then you remember the movie, Mr. and Mrs. Smith. You guys watch that?
Yeah, it was funny.
Their house was an arsenal.
Yeah.
Secret drawers everywhere, shotguns in pictures on the wall. You open up the bookcase, and what's in the bookcase? It's not books, And so hiding in plain sight, I thought this would be a fun topic because a lot of people, especially apartment preppers, are like, well, where do I put my stuff?
Mm-hmm. There's
like,
all
there's
kinds of places.
a million places to put stuff. Like, you guys remember the movie The RM?
I do.
Did you
Yeah.
watch the movie?
I watched it, but I don't think I remember much
Yeah, I
of it.
don't remember it.
For those of you who are not members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and or growing up in Utah, you've probably never heard of this stupid movie. But the funny part about it is Latter-day Saints, Mormons, are known for food storage. This guy goes on his mission. He comes home, and they call him an RM, return missionary. He comes home, and his mom's like, "Here's your room." And he hops on the bed, and he's like, he hits this hard surface, and he's like, "Oh, ow, what is this? What's wrong with the bed?" And his mom gets so excited. "Oh, honey, you're sleeping on top of a year supply of food storage." There was no mattress on top of it. It was just boxes of like canned foods stacked up to look like a bed and had a bedspread on it. And he's just like, "Oh." But again, hidden in plain sight. Like, it's complete over the top, overkill. But it plays to what we're talking about. Like, I slept on a raised bed throughout all my single years when I was renting rooms as opposed to having a house. I raised my bed and stuck everything underneath it that I could fit, and then I altered my closet to make stuff fit. Nothing was really hidden, but I got creative with the space. But when it comes to like hiding things in plain sight, like, if you really want to go crazy, you can do things like creating a false wall, right? You could, I don't know anyone that's done that, but I remember, well, actually I do. My dad built one for a guy years ago in a state we used to live in. He built a false wall for a guy, and the guy had all kinds of cool stuff behind that wall. And the false wall was a bunch of really nice custom book and display cases. So it was in this guy's office. Behind him had all this stuff, and there was a secret key that would open up one section. It would slide out of the way, and there's everything in there that he needs for kind of a safe room. But it's like, most people don't have the money to go build a false wall or build something like that.
And it can be done very inexpensively as well. I mean, my false wall is essentially moving a bookshelf forward and leaving space behind it.
Cool.
It can be done. So it can be done very inexpensively. So there's things you can do. So it looks like it's an entire wall, but there's actually space behind it, but nobody can tell. So yeah, absolutely. But my example, you had your example there from the RM. My example is from the Lego movie, Emmett, right? You remember what Emmett's friends said about him? Emmett, who's he? Oh, he's that like non-interesting guy that doesn't say anything or do anything interesting. He just he's the same as everybody else. Or do you remember that?
Yeah, he's the same as
and it's pretty sad, right? But so I understand how he feels. I mean, that's, like I said, I got a lot of experience with this. But
what? No, you don't.
That's the way. Anyway, we won't get into my history, but he really blended in because he was the company man, right? He did everything that everybody else did, and so you can take that and learn from it if you want to be like the true gray man.
Okay.
I'm not. I don't like being like anybody else. I don't like to do what everybody else. I do my own thing. I've always done my own thing, and but there are definitely ways where you can blend in. And well, another example, Tom Cruise in Jack Reacher. He's running away from the police. He comes down a street. He steps out of his car. His car rolls down the street. He walks into a crowd very slowly, puts on somebody else's hat, and disappears. Right? Have you seen that scene?
Yeah, there's a lot of scenes like that in several movies that are really, I think they're cool.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, it would be cool to have that set of skills.
Just understand how that works and just blend right in. And I know that's the way I felt. Most of my life is just, I don't gather much attention. I'm very average looking, average height, very average everything, right? And so it's pretty easy for me to blend in and not stand out. That's the way I feel anyway, right?
Well, okay. So your analogy, while it rings true for Emmett's behavior, it doesn't ring true for Emmett's skill set. What did Emmett?
No, not his
do?
learned skill set. Not his learned skill set. No.
Well, no. What was he? What was he doing?
He was good at following the rules.
He was good at following instructions, and whenever he'd go off on his own, he would build the weirdest, wildest crap, or at least everyone thought it was until he actually used it. Right? What did he build? He built a double-decker couch with hidden compartments,
and everybody thought it was stupid, so they ignored it.
And then what happened? Everyone hid in the compartments, and the other ship flew by, and they're like, "Oh, that's just a double-decker couch. That's stupid," and flew off. And everyone was safe in those hidden compartments, having the time of their life, not having to worry about anything, right? It was this. They were safe. They were hidden in plain sight, hidden in stupid plain sight. But that was like his gift. That was his gift. Just like you seem like you're just going with the flow outside of this podcast. You have a gift. And that gift, the secret gift, is prepping.
I will take that as a compliment, and that it is a gift instead of a curse, which
sometimes it feels like
elementary school, and junior high and high school, just invisible, right? But hey, there are definitely benefits, especially now.
True.
I mean, look at our channel; it's invisible. Our YouTube channel, nobody sees it.
Our podcast, our podcast is like huge. Our YouTube. Come on, guys, get over there and just give us a subscribe, give us a follow.
Everybody that listens on our lives is like, how do you guys not have 1,000 subscribers already? I'm like, same question.
Don't know.
Exactly. We're too much the gray man, right? We're blending. We blend in with everything else. So
we're hiding in plain sight too well.
Exactly.
One of the things that I want to do is I want to build like a kind of a root cellar space under my garage floor, completely like bunker.
Well,
right?
you've seen the Atlas bunkers that are meant for that.
Yeah, but I want to build my own, and I just think it would be fun. I think it'd be a fun project. But then it's like nobody knows it's there; it's hidden, right? Watching them do the Atlas bunkers and actually showcase those in Doomsday Preppers, the TV show, as well as on National Geographic channel. One of the things I always thought was funny is they'd have these doors, and then they're like, you close the door and they're like, nobody knows we're in here. I'm like, but from the garage, you look down this big giant steel door. It's impossible not to go, what's that big giant steel door? Well, I'll just put some boxes over the top. How you're inside, right? Those things to me are always like the stupidity of the example that they give is always like, come on, man. Behind a false wall makes more sense. So you can close it and no one knows it's there. Putting things in places where you wouldn't think something's there. Ideal. Like when you go to do like your outdoor caches and you hide, like a lot of people will go bury a bin somewhere, or they'll do one of those, 6-inch PVC pipes with a cap on one end and a screw off lid on the other end, and they'll bury those, or they'll put them in an obscure place. That to me, like, it's kind of hidden in plain sight. It's really not in plain sight, but it's hidden. That makes more sense. But it's like, I've seen guys that do like a fake stone, and it looks huge, so you don't want to try to lift it or move it, but you just tip it over and there's a cache inside of it. You can make and do a lot of really interesting things. I know of a guy who has one of those fake stones that is actually attached to his coal reserve for his home. So if the power goes out, he's got a coal burner. I'm totally losing the words that I'm looking for, but stove, sorry. And it's connected to his water. And then that water can be heated, as well as his whole home can be heated off of that same system. And
he just flips it over, and he just flips it over, and he can put the coal in there, and
he just switches off the electric and the gas furnace, and he turns on he lights his coal furnace, and he turns on his radiant heater system that is heated from the coal, and he's good. Cool. And he, dude lives not too far from me, much bigger house, lots of kids, better solutions, and and he's definitely got the money to do whatever he wants. And I was like, that is really simple. He goes, the simple stuff doesn't break. The stuff that our parents and grandparents used lasted a long time for a reason, because it wasn't garbage. He's like, everything in our society, this is right in line with Shane, everything in our society is designed to fail now.
It's engineered for a certain life cycle.
Engineered for failure, yeah.
Right.
You know, that's why
how many
only lasts, what, 3,000 turn on and turn offs, like, and then it's gone.
Yep.
I swear it's a conspiracy with my cell phone too. Like, it's, you know, you have the 2-year agreement, and then in 2 years the battery starts to die all of a sudden. You're like, wait a minute.
Yours
like
lasts 2 years? It's amazing.
Well, I went to Pixel 6s, and so they last a little longer. But yeah, my Samsung seemed to like die at 18 months or start dying. And it's like, man, by the time these things are paid for and you're ready to, you know, you don't want to upgrade because you want to have a few months of free, you know, or lower bill. And the batteries are out, or the screen's out, or the iOS has got some.
It's very discouraging. You can't even buy software on a disc anymore. It's subscription every single month, right? This is off topic, obviously, but you know, for your Office 365, for your Adobe, you got to pay every month now. You can't just buy a disc and use it for 5 years or whatever. No, you just can't do it. Anyway,
which goes into hidden in plain sight. Like, our entire system is really, this is the sad part, slavery hidden in plain sight. Everything we're doing, they're hooking into us a million different things. So cut those and get back to, like, what is the simplest thing I can do to better prepare my family? What can I have on hand that no one's going to realize that's preparedness stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. And
that's a really good point, Scott.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, you know, one of the reasons I'm, of course, wearing the hat here is this is not something a typical prepper would wear, right? I mean, you're going to have something with a flag on it, you know, or something like this, that, hey, look at me, you know, I want to stand out and show that I'm, you know, those who have military background, whatever, you know, want to show that off. It's got some pride. I understand that. But what kind of, you know, I'm not a sports guy whatsoever. So this is perfect camouflage for me, right? You know, me, that I wear brand names, you know, that kind of makes me stand out a little bit. But what I've really started doing lately is I have some of the, I mean, you've seen some of the shirts that I wear, right? That say does not play well with tyrants, you know, on my shirt. And I don't wear those out in public anymore, really. I probably should, because I want to spread a message. And I've had people comment on them, say, hey, nice shirt, or, you know, those types of things. But those are typically the people who are already awake. It may be the time right now to where we need to be a gray man in public, so that you're not attracting the attention of those who would, you know, who would do us harm. Those who are preppers, who have, who are patriots, you know, using the air quotes, and who have, you know, because that obviously that's a terrorist group now. You know, the U.S. government has labeled, you know, patriots as essentially as, you know, terrorists, and so it, you know, may very well be the time to just go gray man and not wear logo shirts, just be plain and just blend in, or go the opposite way to blend in with those who are opposite of you, you know, who wear a rainbow shirt, you know, I don't know, you know.
What's funny is, like, they used to say to be a gray man, you had to, like, almost wear gray, like bland colors, nothing that stands out or sticks out, right? And now you've got to look like you fit in with everyone else that's standing out and sticking out.
Well, that's absolutely one way to do it, right? You know, me walking around New York, or, you know, San Francisco, whatever, you know, in what I wear, I'd stand out like a sore thumb, right? But change my dress, wear some tight jeans, you know, and a tight fitting shirt or something, and some tennis shoes, probably blend right in. But it really depends on where you're at and where you're going, and what your intent is for the day, you know.
It kind of reminds me of The Rock in the Central Intelligence. Do you remember that movie?
I haven't seen it.
He's in one point, he's wearing this big, like, obviously they're tiny shirts for him, but it's like this rainbow unicorn t-shirt. And I'm like, you don't fit any group around you. Like, it does, like, you completely stand out, completely contrary to what the CIA is going to teach you, like to look a specific part. Wear a suit, a nondescript dark suit with a white shirt and a nondescript tie, and you're like, wait, what are you doing? He's drawing attention to himself. So what are we doing to not draw attention to ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of my friends from overseas are like, yeah, you guys wear in America, you wear so many branded articles of clothing, mostly t-shirts. You have hats with all these logos and branded stuff. Oh, everyone's wearing Nike. Oh, everyone's wearing, you know, this 9 line, right? And a lot of preppers will wear 9 line, and this stands out. And if you know the prepper brands, you're going to see right away, oh, that guy's into prepping, or that guy's somewhat like-minded, right? But if you look like just every other Tom, Dick, and Harry, you can blend with specific crowds.
Yep.
And I think that's part of like hiding in plain sight is like, if you're, for example, in Utah, if there's a Utah game and you want to not stand out, wear Utah gear, because all the people around my area are going to be wearing Utah gear, and no one's going to really notice that you're wearing Utah gear. They're just going to be like, oh, all right, cool.
That's the color red for people who don't know.
Yeah.
And BYU is blue.
Whereas opposed to, BYU, if you go down south and there's a BYU game, you wear blue. And you don't stand out. You just kind of fit in with the rest of the crowd. And so being aware of what's going on around you and having your clothes to match that, what's going on, makes sense. I wear a lot of black, so I stand out. I've been called Johnny Cash a few times. I'm like, I'm the most portly version of Johnny Cash that even Johnny Cash wouldn't even recognize me, right? Black is a slimming shade or tone, to me. I could use all the slimming that I can get, but be that as it may, like, I have stuff hidden on me all the time. Baggier clothes gives you space so that you're not printing your weapon. People don't see your multi-tools. People don't see the different things that might be on you. Like, on me all the time, I've got my keys, my wallet, my phone, a multi-tool, and then I've got my knife sharpener, a knife. Like, those are just the things that are always on me. But like around my house, what's hidden in plain sight? Around your house, what's hidden in plain sight? I wish I had one of those shelf compartments that you could hide stuff in that's also a safe. We interviewed those guys a while ago, and we had them actually on the podcast when we were still on the radio station. Some guys that made one of those shelves. But it's like, those are the types of things that you can make yourself. Like, you can carve out a hole in your wall and put a fake air grate over it, and boom, have it be a magnetic seal close type thing. Open it up, grab whatever you want to put in there. Hidden in
or
plain
even less,
sight.
even less intrusive to your furniture. Maybe even have something that's Velcroed or taped to the inside of a cupboard behind a couple dishes that you just move the dishes out of the way, and you've got something there to be able to use tools, whatever. There's so many different things that you can do to hide your gear in plain sight. The food storage is obviously one that you could put in different closets, where you could put, I had a linen closet that was filled with my cans of food and everything else. So it looked like a linen closet, but when I opened it up, it was filled with my food storage. And, sometimes I put a couple of blankets in front of it so that it wasn't as obvious. If somebody did open that, they would see, more blankets and maybe a couple cans, but those are the types of things too. And I had a big, huge water tank in my garage that nobody ever saw or could see. And I would tell people, look, I've got a month or 2 or 3's worth of supply of water. They're like, where? I'm like, well, that's exactly what you want them to be saying. Where? How do you do that? Like, how do you have all that? So it's just a matter of keeping it. Number one, you don't want to, telegraph what you're doing. And I wear cargo pants. That may be telegraphing what I'm, kind of my mentality. But I like them. They're comfortable. And so I want to hide in plain sight, but at the same time, I still want to have my personality and have the things that I like to do and wear. And so I don't really, my wife, prefers maybe if I wear some jeans every once in a while, but I like the cargo pants because I have more pockets and I can carry more stuff. And yeah, it might telegraph a little bit more like, hey, that guy's more into whatever, but hey, at some level, I still just am a normal everyday guy and nobody really knows. And sometimes when I tell people I have a podcast on preparedness, they're like, wait, what? And so it's just, that's the cool thing about, when you just live life normal, you go to the PTA meetings with your, you just live like a normal. You're not like this weird guy who's always talking about zombies and, asteroids, falling out of the sky. I mean, I'm a weird guy, but I don't talk about that kind of stuff all the time.
Well, Dad on YouTube, he talks about the dad starter kit is a pair of cargo shorts. Like, if you're a dad, that's one of the first things you need to do is you buy your cargo shorts and cargo pants and your New Balance what are they, the 880s or whatever, sneakers. Like that's your starter kit to being a dad. Like
That's awesome.
And you can wear those anywhere and everywhere, and you have room to put all the stuff you need as a dad. And the only problem is if you're going to run, you got to grab your lower pockets. Otherwise you're going to knock something that doesn't
You
need
knock
to
your
knock,
knees.
right? And so and I'm just like, that's hilarious, but that's true, right? Cargo pants, you are hiding in plain sight because there are so many people who still wear cargo pants.
Yeah, that's true.
Especially across the United States, like dads galore. I have so many pairs of cargo shorts. It's stupid. Like I have so many pairs, but it makes sense to wear,
Mm-hmm.
as a dad, even as a prepper, as
I think
a prepper, I wear jeans a lot. For work, I wear specialty pants. Like when I'm not wearing jeans or specialty pants, I'm wearing my 511s because they're the most comfortable, flexible pants I own.
I think I want to jump into a topic that where God hides things in plain sight for us a little bit is in nature. And we had Buna Tomalino on, and she has this amazing foraging class that she goes through. We haven't done it. I know, Scott, you've been meaning to get involved with it and do her walk, but there's how many edible things do we have in our front yard that are literally hiding in plain sight that we could use if we got into a crunch? And not that we need to, because we have the grocery stores and everything. Society's kind of running properly right now, but it would definitely be a good idea to get a skill set where you can just walk outside your door and identify some hidden in plain sight edible foods. I mean, that's a skill set I feel like I want to have or learn more about in 2023. So that's one of my goals anyways. But that's a definite hidden in plain sight. That's God's placed there before us to be able to use and enjoy.
That's a really good point. Unfortunately, she's not doing her classes right now due to a health issue. She's kind of out of commission has been for about 5 months, and will be for probably another 6 months. So anyone that knows her, please give her your best. Keep her in your thoughts and prayers. She's such an awesome person, and she knows so much. Just in my yard, I've identified probably 3 different things that I can eat, as long as they go unsprayed by chemicals.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good point.
The fertilizer and the systems that we use a lot of times are they're so full of chemicals that are bad for you as well. You can't eat them, but if you're out in the wild, you've got a chance, right?
Mm-hmm.
But again, it's food hidden in plain sight. I love. There's a hack that I saw. This guy's like, here's where I hide all my money, and he took and put all of his money in a Ziploc bag. He rolled it up, set it in the Ziploc bag, and then he took a thing of peanut butter and he put it upside down. He spun it really hard. And he did that a few times until the entire wall of every inch of that peanut butter was now peanut butter lined. You just open it up, drop the roll of money in there, and then spun it again. And you open the top and you see peanut butter across the top too. And he's like, you wouldn't even know that inside there's a bag of money. Somebody opens this up, like, oh, it's just peanut butter. Close it, put it back in the fridge.
That's
and he
crazy.
keeps it in the fridge. I'm like, that's hilarious. And he's like, this is where the gangster put the money. And I'm like, maybe, who knows? I don't know. I've never met a gangster, nor have I ever gone through their fridge to look in their peanut butter.
Mm-hmm.
But it was kind of a clever little hack. So guys, if you have a hack that you think that's a really cool way to, just hide things in plain sight, comment below, or even link videos or examples to it in our comments below. Like, we would love to see that and help share that. Also join our Facebook group if you haven't already joined it, and post them in there, because that would open up a really fantastic discussion.
Yeah, I had a friend of mine who,
plain sight.
one of my good friends had a relative, had her father-in-law, I believe, pass away recently. And he said, when you're going through my stuff, don't throw away the paint cans. And that was all he said. And she's like, okay, whatever, don't throw away the paint cans. Or he said something like, make sure to pay attention to the paint cans. It was some little hint that he dropped. Mm-hmm. Well, sure enough, she opened up these paint cans after he passed away, and they were filled with coins. Some of them were valuable coins, like silver coins, gold coins. Some of them had some really nice, it was a nice collection. Yeah. And it was just, I don't remember how much money she told me it was, but it was a pretty little, stash. It was a good stash of stuff. So there's a lot of stuff like that you can hide in plain sight. I know that if you do end up doing something like that, maybe burying it in your backyard, make sure you draw a map. Like, don't forget where you buried it, because you don't want to be, you don't want to be like, wait a minute, now where did I bury that money? Where did I put that?
That's also why there's a lot of treasure hunters out there, right? Because they're still finding stuff, especially over in UK, over in Europe. They're still finding stuff that was intentionally buried to keep it safe. And a couple hundred years later, 1,000 years later, treasure hunters are finding it. So you're absolutely right. I'm not too fond of hiding things. It's very slow to get to. I don't have that much of an excess of one thing or another to where, like, okay, if I bury this and forget about it, I won't miss it. No, I'm probably a little too OCD for that, to bury things. But we'll see how the future changes that. But I guess a few other things that were on my mind about being the gray man was, being the gray man online as well, right? Being the gray man digitally. I really hate supporting, big banks, right? Because they're criminal banks. They take our dollars, our currency, and invest it poorly and squander it. And technically, our deposits are not our money, and they can risk it however they like. So I definitely recommend credit unions, but kind of blending in, it's probably not a bad idea to have an account with a big bank, like Chase or Wells Fargo or whatever, and just kind of play the game. That's, I think, part of being the gray man as well. Just play the game, either play the game or be out of it completely, which is, very difficult to do, and just live on cash and barter or whatever. But that's the one aspect, using a VPN or something like that.
I like to think of myself as a deep cover citizen of the United
double
States.
Agent.
I'm a double agent. I'm actually a spiritually, I actually feel like I'm working for God, but here I am revealing this, but I feel like I'm working for God, but I have to stay in the world to kind of, influence and like be. And when he like calls me and says, hey, I need you to help this person, I feel like it's a secret phone, like, hey, I need you to go help your neighbor. I need to go serve somebody. I need you to do this podcast so you can get more of my children, prepared and ready. I'm like, all right, secret mission accepted, like mission impossible, whatever. And so I'm like this deep cover citizen. And so when I go out into the world, I'm like, oh, I'm in a bank. I buy cars. I have loans. I have credit cards. I have the whole thing. I'm like, yeah, I'm just playing the game. But if God ever calls me and says, hey, I need you to bounce to the wilderness, I'm like, phew, thank goodness. Leave this Babylonian.
Yeah, exactly. The difference is, the truth, right? That knowledge is there, and you're participating for a reason, for a purpose, and not just blindly. The risk, you understand, you accept the risks, and you can minimize those risks with having that knowledge. And I think that's really where the gray man comes in that way, being out in public, driving around, I've scoured my vehicles of any decals I used to have on them, like the NRA or, Molon Labe, with those types of things I keep on the back of my trucks. I'm like, no, it's time. I think it's time to take those off and not attract attention. I know we're still in a pretty safe community where we're at, but I'm sure it'd be much more important in other places, in larger cities and such, where it may draw the ire of people who are looking to cause trouble.
And right now, the timing is that we could be safe, but in a year or two or three, with things, who knows? That it was interesting is we saw the last couple of years, well, not last couple of years, but when Trump was put into office, how many people just got the crap beat out of them because they were wearing the MAGA hat, And so those types of things are, as much as you want to support certain causes, if you want to fight, go ahead and wear it, because they'll come at you. But if you want to stay, incognito, so to speak, then you got to watch out for, some of the things that you may be wearing or what you're promoting and how you're promoting it. So that's the gray man is, to me, the gray man is the ultimate person who has all the confidence in the world, knows exactly what to do to handle himself in any situation or most situations that he would ever find himself in. And nobody knows it. He's not like trumpeted out. He's not tooting his own horn or her own horn. They know how to take care of business, and they get things done, and they do what they're supposed to do. And they develop their skills. They continue to grow their skill sets and learn what they need to learn and do what they need to do. And those are the kinds of people that I think are going to end up saving the world and saving our Constitution and our country, and just saving so much of those good, solid, traditional things that need to be saved and preserved.
Yeah, well, that's it.
So this is going to go super, super obscure for a second. Kind of, I'll probably piss off a lot of people. I'm not saying this to piss you off, but it's like, what is MAGA? There's the Trump Make America Great Again, but what is the word MAGA?
Yeah, I know what you're referring to, Scott.
I can't remember right
I'm
now.
trying to remember. Yeah, I remember reading about
witchcraft. Like it's
right.
a
It's a higher an order or something.
Oh, like magician.
It's an order.
Yeah,
it's an order. Yeah, that's
which
what it is.
I'm like, whether this is part of what that goal was with that or not, like it's for spell casting. You know, we all watch television, right? This black box or whatever color you're watching it on, but you've got this program that comes in that you have to tune into. Like you could go completely fringe with this and go super deep and be like, there's a lot that's hidden in plain sight that's afflicting our lives,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
affecting our lives, right? And so we talk about like hidden in plain sight as a prepper, how to hide things in plain sight, how to be a gray man, but also what is hidden in plain sight that's hurting you. You know, all of our processed foods. My wife and I talked about this last night. There's so much crap in the food that she loves to bring into the house. I'm like, you eat all this processed food. Like, how is this good for you? And she's like, I know. And I'm like, I do too. Why? Because this is what the shopping person in our household does. I'm like, when I go shopping, you guys don't want to eat any of the stuff I buy. We got to fix that. But it's like, what else are we putting in our homes? What else are we putting in our proximity that is bringing in bad with it?
That is cleverly disguised in one way or another.
Yeah. And so when you're thinking about hiding things in plain sight, think about what else is sneaking into your home. Whether it's through your phone, whether it's through your TV, whether it's just negative influences, whether it's negative personalities, real witchcraft and sorceries against you. You know, real. I mean, if you go down the street and you find someone who's absolutely off the rocker crazy, and you invite them into your home, you need to be prepared to deal with the ramifications of that craziness, right? Well, same goes for everything else in our life. There is crazy in just about everything. So be cautious what you're inviting everywhere you go. You know, putting those banners of like, you know, hey, I'm a MAGA supporter. You might be inviting crazy. You know, why do you think people go so crazy and fight against it? Making America great again. I don't think there's anything bad about making America great again. You know, focusing on helping our people, focusing on helping the blue collar, especially, right? The farmers, the family. There's nothing wrong with that. But when you advertise a specific movement and you get all that blowback, is it worth it? That's the question to ask.
Yeah,
or can you be more covert about it? Still promote, but promote quietly. Not have to be the walking billboard or the walking bullseye for everyone to target. So be cautious of that, guys. Like, I'm not saying Trump's bad and don't follow Trump. That's up to each of you, the listener, right? To make your decision, which candidates you like, which ones you don't like. I'll tell you honestly, our POS. I mean, what do we call it? The President of the United States. Sorry.
Oh,
is the current one is not good.
POUS.
We got a bad situation here, and it's not going to get any better till we vote him out or he gets dealt with for committing the treason that he's committed. We've got to be cautious in all aspects of our life, right? I'm not cautious on air. I'm not cautious on social media in the world of prepping, because I feel it's my mission to share. And does that make me a target? Yeah, it does. I don't get a lot of blowback in my personal life because most of my people that are friends with me don't pay attention and don't listen to me.
You've already alienated them. So
I've alienated everybody.
You weed out those people who you really don't want in your life by saying certain things and like, okay, great. We'll see you another time.
And it works really well.
It works very well.
Yeah. And that's another way to hide in plain sight. I mean,
Right?
how many of you remember that movie? There was the movie where the guy was walking around with the sunglasses, and he put on the sunglasses. He can see
They live.
consumerism. He can see, the zombies, and he can see all this stuff. And then he'd take the sunglasses off, and he would see in a normal world, a normal city. And
Yeah.
so I don't remember the show that
It's
was,
called,
but that's a
it's
great
called They
example.
Live. They live.
They live.
Rowdy
Shane
Roddy
so
knows
that's-
Piper.
all
They
the
live.
obscure cool stuff.
There's so many things that are coming to destroy our families that are hidden in plain sight. There's so many things that are working to destroy America, our ideals, are the different things that really make up what we want to have as our main focus here, which is God, family, and country. I mean, how many people do we see trying to get God out of everything? How many people would try to see destroying families, and the school system that's rising up, trying to create all these programs to teach kids to not respect their parents at the end of the day, and especially at the college level. And then, country, we definitely are seeing. So that's some of the things that we've seen over the last several years, is different things have come out to destroy us. And so many people I love the fact that so many people are waking up to some of these things that they've had their whole life. And some people are like, wait a minute, why do we have so many, jabs in our arm as kids? Why do we have so many TV programs that talk about certain things? Why do we have fatherless families? What are we promoting? What are we really doing with our social programs? Like, what's happening? Like, there's a lot of people waking up, a lot of really good people fighting the good fight. So I suggest that besides listening to us, you listen to them too, and get into some of these wake up, kind of mentalities where you're like, wait a minute, what is the enemy of God? What is the enemy of families? What is the enemy of our country doing in plain sight to us that we're totally just hook, line, and sinker? And that's another, I think, maybe that would be the flip side of this podcast, is to do something about all those different things that are going on. But any last minute things you guys want to throw out before we end the podcast?
No, I think just my last 2 cents on that topic, Paris, is that those things that were hidden in plain sight are now not so hidden. Right.
Yeah.
But you still your eyes have to be open to a certain extent to be able to see those things and accept them, because it has been a great delusion, been a great hidden for just many, many years. And it's just been a big lie that has been told, and we've accepted so many things. And now it's truly coming to light and being openly shown for what it actually is. And people still are not recognizing it. So even though it is out in the open, is still somewhat hidden if you're not looking for it. So you've got to be looking for it. You got to have your eyes open and be willing to accept the truth.
Yep.
Amen to that. All the hidden things, all the dark movements, all the works of darkness shall be brought to light.
Yep.
And that, what I believe was in Luke, chapter 12. I can't remember exactly the verse, but here we go. Luke 12, 2 through 3. Whatever you've said in the dark will be heard in the light, and whatever you have, for there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed. Guys, do good. Be good. Take care of your families. Take care of your loved ones. Prep. Be prepared and serve the Lord. All the darkness is going to be exposed. And so light will force the darkness out and cause it to flee. That's all I can tell you to do, guys. Like, just trust in the Lord when He's inspiring you and telling you to do something that's going to help prepare your family, even if it doesn't make any sense to you, and oftentimes it doesn't at first. Do it anyways, because in hindsight you'll go, "Oh wow, I get that now."
You have to take that step into the unknown to see where the next step is after that. So you can't just sit back and look from a distance and I wonder what that's all about. No, you got to dig in. Unfortunately, you got to expose yourself to some of that scary, ugly stuff that you don't want. That I know a lot of people don't want to, because it's too painful or it's too ugly, and it makes your life a little darker, maybe. And I don't want that.
Yeah. Well, you feel like when you step into the darkness, it's going to get darker. But what ends up happening is the light comes in quick enough that it actually illuminates the next step for you as you continue down the path. But it's like 1 or 2 steps at a time. As a prepper, we want to stay in control and be in control and know where we're going and know why we're going there. And what, what is this for? What's the path? you know, it's hard to have faith for somebody who, you know, and faith is knowing something is having a hope that something good will come of the action that you're taking. And so that's really what I would say is faith. You don't know what will manifest. You don't know what will actually happen, but you have faith that good will happen as you take action towards a particular goal. And that's the wonderful thing about being a prepper. Take appropriate action, take good actions, do good things. And whatever comes will come. Be the best version of you possible. Tell the truth and at least don't lie. You know, make sure that you're constantly working diligently towards a goal that brings meaning to your life and the lives of those around you. And you're going to be on the right path. God will guide and direct that path to create and manifest good in this world. And so hopefully our podcast is on that same path of promoting and bringing good into the world. We appreciate you being with us for the last 45 minutes and listening in to what it means to hide ourselves in plain sight, but then also be aware of the things that are hiding in our plain sight and making sure that we're not being deceived or taken advantage of or blindsided by certain things. So again, go to our website at preppertalkradio.com, join our email list there, to join our Facebook page at Emergency Prep and Self-Reliance. And then also jump on and subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you don't want to watch us on YouTube, that's fine. We have a Rumble channel as well. If you feel more comfortable about Rumble, go watch us over there. And because we have a channel there as well. So really appreciate you guys. Until the next one, stay ready-minded.
See you guys.